Since he crossed the personal line, he's not going to have my respect. He's not going to have my team's respect. All I'm going to need is 2 minutes in the octagon with you. Then I'm going to put you to sleep in front of your whole family, your country, in front of everyone. My name is Ilia Topuria. I'm a professional athlete.
Everyone missed one massive detail in this fight, but Javier Mendez spotted it instantly: the early orbital injury. Mendez breaks it down vividly. Justin Gaethje's very first meaningful strike, a brutal uppercut inside the clinch, landed flush on Topuria's right eye. This wasn't a standard laceration you can just patch up between rounds. Mendez is convinced this exact second triggered the entire collapse. It was a structural failure that doomed Topuria from the opening bell. A coach's eye catches what every casual fan ignores. Mendez watched Topuria repeatedly flinch and guard that eye, a dead giveaway of blinding, agonizing pain and severely compromised vision. And let's be real, Mendez has spent a lifetime in the corners of legends dealing with shattered orbital bones. His read is gospel. He explains how that specific injury delivers a relentless, grinding spike of trauma that completely destroys your ability to compete. It makes fighting back near impossible. But you have to give massive credit to Gaethje for forcing that damage.
For the win. And I think that was the choice he had to make because it was going to continue to get worse. I beat his ass in the first round. Like, it might have been close on the scorecards. I absolutely took the first round, but the amount of damage that I inflicted in the first round set up the rest of the fight.
This is where the entire narrative flips on its head. Suddenly, we aren't just looking at a story of a champion being too arrogant. We are looking at a warrior fighting through pure physical torture from the very first frame. Think about the ripple effect. Could a shattered orbital bone be the exact reason behind Topuria's bizarre strategic mistakes? Did it stop him from finishing Gaethje when he had him badly hurt? Now, this isn't a cheap excuse. Mendez makes that very clear. But it's a massive piece of the puzzle. The kind of invisible war fought inside the cage that the audience at home never sees. The sheer weight of an injury like that on a fighter's game plan is catastrophic. So, ask yourself, was that early eye fracture the real secret reason Topuria collapsed?
He's so short he can't see himself in the bathroom mirror, and he married a stripper from Miami. I'm sorry. The incredible Hoagie.
But Mendez doesn't stop there, and his read on Topuria's overconfidence heading into this fight is more than a simple post-mortem. It's a genuine lesson in fight psychology because at the absolute highest level of the sport, mental fortitude and respect for your opponent are every bit as critical as physical talent. Maybe even more so. Topuria seemed to get swept up in the hype train. All those external celebrations, the spectacle, the noise, and it overshadowed the disciplined, razor-sharp focus a true championship run demands. And that lapse in judgment, it paved the way for one of the most shocking upsets we've seen, proving that no fighter, no matter how gifted, is ever immune to the consequences of underestimating someone. The weight of expectation, especially when it's self-imposed, can become a fighter's heaviest burden. But here's the real question. Was it just the mental side, or were there physical factors dragging him down too, making him vulnerable to Gaethje's relentless assault? Mendez's insight into fight preparation is legendary. He's guided champion after champion to the top. And this criticism isn't personal. It's a clean, professional assessment of a fundamental mistake that echoed through every single round. Now, let's talk about the man who won. Mendez shifted his focus to Gaethje's borderline humanly impossible durability. His freakish ability to absorb a terrifying amount of damage and just keep marching forward. This isn't just basic praise. This is an elite coach showing ultimate respect to a completely different breed of athlete. Mendez called it flat-out unbelievable, stating very few humans on Earth could take those shots and stay conscious. He was brutally honest. Just one of those bombs would have put most ranked fighters to sleep. That is how legendary Gaethje's chin and spirit truly are. This performance permanently cements his legacy as the ultimate gladiator. A man who doesn't just deliver trauma, but swallows it whole. That terrifying mix is precisely why he remains the most feared violent artist in the UFC. Mendez's breakdown isn't just about physical toughness. It's about the mental grit needed to swim through hell. That specific trait separates Gaethje from the rest of the world. It forces a massive question. In a sport ruled by technique, does raw, unbreakable heart sometimes completely smash the perfect game plan? When you stack Topuria's early eye injury right on top of Gaethje's iron chin, the whole fight turns into a tragic masterpiece. What fans blamed on bad strategy or ego might actually have been a human being struggling with agonizing pain and partial blindness from the opening exchange. Just picture trying to survive a chaotic, world-class fistfight with a broken skull, where every single movement sends another wave of white-hot agony through your brain. That completely changes how you judge Topuria's performance. He didn't just have a bad night. The man showed unbelievable courage just to stay in the cage. Mendez, using decades of corner experience, knows exactly how devastating these injuries are. They completely overwrite what your body is capable of doing, no matter how perfect your training camp was. This takes nothing away from Gaethje. He earned every bit of that victory. But it gives a realistic, honest view of the mountain Topuria was forced to climb. It puts a massive spotlight on the sheer cruelty of the fight game, where one perfect shot alters reality in a millisecond. Not just the round, but a fighter's entire career. Now, here is where the plot thickens. Mendez addresses the massive elephant in the room head-on. Topuria's devastating defeat completely shatters the entire landscape of the division. The biggest, most immediate casualty? That long-teased, highly anticipated superfight between Topuria and Islam Makhachev is officially completely out the window. This completely validates what Dana White has always implied without openly saying it. Superfights are a privilege you earn, and a loss like this, especially right after that massive White House mainstream platform, completely deflates the entire narrative. But then Mendez drops a tactical detail that would have haunted a potential Makhachev fight anyway: the sheer size difference. He pointed out that Gaethje looked drastically, noticeably bigger than Topuria in the cage. It makes you immediately realize what on earth would have happened against Islam, who is a massive, genuine lightweight competitor. It foreshadows the brutal physical challenge Topuria would have run into regardless of how he performed against Gaethje. Mendez's expert opinion is that moving up to challenge Makhachev was always going to be an uphill nightmare, not just in technique, but in pure physical scale. Just like that, this single upset rewrites the UFC's entire future master plan, effectively crushing Topuria's superfight dreams for the foreseeable future. The path to Islam just got infinitely longer and a whole lot harder, if it even exists anymore. So that brings us straight to Makhachev's camp. Mendez's reaction when asked if he's disappointed the Topuria money fight fell apart was brutally cold and definitive. Not at all. That is a total, flat-out rejection of the idea that Islam ever needed Topuria to secure a career-defining moment. Mendez frames reality the way that entire camp always does. It's in God's plans. It is a completely calm, almost serene acceptance of whatever challenge comes next. More importantly, he notes that Makhachev has a long line of dangerous contenders waiting for him right now in the division. They never needed Topuria to vault Islam to a legendary status. The underlying message is crystal clear. Islam's historic trajectory moves completely independent of Topuria's career, and his status as the absolute pound-for-pound king doesn't depend on any single name. This completely reframes the entire situation. Topuria's loss is strictly Topuria's setback, not Islam's. It quietly throws the pressure right back into Dana White's court, daring the UFC boss to find a massive, worthy opponent now that the easy Spanish money option is completely gone. Which raises the ultimate question. If Topuria isn't the golden ticket anymore, then who is? This is the exact moment Mendez dropped an absolute tactical nuclear bomb. Because the answer is a name far bigger than anyone anticipated. Maybe, he muttered. Just maybe that Irish superstar if he takes care of business on July 11th. He is openly teasing a mega fight with Conor McGregor. Just like that, the dead Topuria superfight gets replaced by the biggest commercial spectacle in combat sports history. Mendez was almost playful about it. Why not? Conor wants the smoke, so their camp is more than ready to give it to him. And let's be real. This isn't a fight based on rankings or division fairness. This is pure stadium selling, pay-per-view shattering box office madness. The timing of this call-out, happening right as the Topuria talk died, shows you exactly how fast the Dagestani camp adjusted. It's essentially Mendez telling the UFC executives, the kid from Spain is out, but an even bigger vault just unlocked. For the smart businessmen, this isn't a backup plan. This is the dream scenario. A fight that completely breaks out of the MMA bubble into a global cultural event. In fact, Mendez went all out, stating a McGregor vs. Makhachev showdown could easily become the highest-selling fight in UFC history. That isn't just hyperbole. It is backed by a deeply bitter, historic blood feud and the unparalleled drawing power McGregor still holds. You can clearly hear Mendez's personal emotional investment here when he basically admitted, If I had a personal wish list, that is the exact fight I want. That rivalry again. He is chasing the raw, electric, chaotic energy of the Khabib versus Conor build-up. That unique atmosphere where, as he perfectly put it, the entire arena booed them, but absolutely loved the drama. That longing to experience that modern-day gladiatorial energy tells you everything about the personal emotion behind this fight. It's no longer just about defending a belt. It's about participating in a historic cultural phenomenon. And don't forget, Khabib's victory over Conor completely broke the all-time UFC pay-per-view record. This isn't fake internet math. With the genuine hatred, the rich history, and the massive star power colliding, this fight would break every metric ever recorded. But there is a razor-sharp edge to this call-out. Mendez sent an unvarnished, deadly serious warning regarding the unresolved bad blood with the Irishman. Leave countries out of it, leave religions out of it, and leave families completely out of it. That isn't trash talk. That is a strict moral boundary drawn by a legendary coach, repeating the exact fury that has burned inside their gym since the original feud. He is calling on fighters to act like grown men and keep the talk strictly about the fighting inside the cage. It proves just how deep and permanent this hatred still runs, and exactly why any future face-off would carry a terrifying amount of real-world tension. Mendez is making it clear this isn't a game to sell tickets. This is about holding McGregor accountable for crossing lines that, in their culture, are completely unforgivable. A potential McGregor title shot wouldn't be a standard athletic contest. It would be a deeply volatile, personal blood feud packed with an intensity you almost never see in modern sports. And yet, this is why Mendez commands universal respect. Even with all that personal venom, he offered an incredibly objective breakdown of McGregor's upcoming blockbuster against Max Holloway. He stated flat out, if the sharp version of Conor shows up, he actually picks him to win. 3-1 in his expert opinion. That is a true professional separating personal hatred from technical analysis. His breakdown relies strictly on fight mechanics, the natural power, accuracy, and physical dimensions McGregor utilizes at his best. But notice that massive condition, if Conor shows up. Because major questions remain about his discipline, focus, and drive after years of a luxury lifestyle and severe inactivity. It's a testament to Mendez's character that he will praise a bitter enemy when the film demands it. It sets the ultimate stage. If McGregor can go out there and beat Holloway, a showdown with Makhachev becomes an immediate world-stopping reality. But before any of that chaos, Islam has his own shark tank to navigate with savage contenders banging on the door at welterweight. Which leads to the ultimate question. Who does Mendez see as the absolute toughest stylistic challenge for Islam, regardless of the mainstream hype? And that brings us to the ultimate truth nobody wants to openly admit. Topuria himself proved it by his graceful reaction to this brutal loss. Because when the dust settled, bruised and dethroned, he offered zero excuses. Greatness in this game isn't tricky. It's just incredibly difficult. There are zero shortcuts past the hard work, the absolute focus, and the ultimate respect this game demands. So stop hunting for excuses. Put that exact mindset into your life today and watch your reality change. But let's settle the ultimate debate right now in the comments. If Conor McGregor beats Max Holloway, does he actually stand a chance against Islam Makhachev, or does he get completely finished again? Drop your raw predictions below, smash that subscribe button for elite MMA breakdowns, and I'll see you in the next one.